What is the best apologetics book for beginners? That's a question I get a lot from people who talk to me at different conferences that I speak at or workshops I do at churches. And so in this video, I'm going to break down 5 apologetics books for beginners that I would recommend so that you can decide which one is best for you. Hey, it's your apologetics guy, McDowell here. I'm all about helping you engage culture and explain the faith with courage and compassion. So if you want to have better spiritual conversations this year, please subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so that you will get a notification every time I post a new video. Book number 1, On Guard, Defending Your Faith with Reason and Precision by William Lane Craig. So the very first apologetics book that I ever read in college was actually Reasonable Faith by William Lane Craig, and that is a graduate level textbook that really was very interesting to me and kind of got me into studying classical theistic arguments. So what you're getting in On Guard is actually the core of his work, Reasonable Faith. And it can help you memorize the flow of arguments for the existence of God. It can help you think through the historicity of Jesus' claims and defend the resurrection. He also covers the problem of evil and relativism, and I like this book so much. It's very helpful for students that I've made it required reading for my college students in the apologetics class at William Jessup University. One of the best features of this book, I think, is how it has charts at the end that will help you think through the different arguments and the objections to those arguments, and you can follow through step by step. Book number 2, Tactics, A Game Plan for Discussing Your Christian Convictions by Greg Koukl. Greg Koukl from Stand to Reason has kind of been a mentor from afar, and Tactics kind of gives you the core of what he teaches in his ministry in one book. It's less about evidence and reasons to believe and more about how to actually navigate spiritual conversations and use the content that you learn in books like On Guard or other books in everyday conversations with people. Part 1 is the Columbo tactic. It's a 3-step game plan to help you stay out of the hot seat using questions instead of making statements. Part 2 has a whole slew of rapid-fire tactics that can help you spot faulty thinking, to share your view in a positive way. Now, this book was actually updated in 2019, so make sure you get the updated and expanded version. This is another one that I recommend to everyone, and especially to my students at William Jessup University. Book number 3, The Case for the Resurrection of Jesus by Gary Habermas and Mike Licona. So this is one of the first books that got me interested in the resurrection, and actually historical Jesus studies got me kind of interested in pursuing that as a specialty. And what you get in this book is the minimal facts argument. Gary Habermas' popular minimal facts argument that talks about common ground that you can have with skeptics when we're talking about the historicity of the resurrection. He talks about 4 facts that are so highly attested historically that even virtually every critical historian will grant them. He talks about 4 facts like that, and then 1 fact where 75% of scholars will grant that fact. So it really gives you a good common ground for talking with skeptics or people who see Christianity differently and want to have a conversation about the historical facts surrounding the resurrection. I also like how it gives you examples of how you can use this material in conversation. Truth in a Culture of Doubt, Engaging Skeptical Challenges to the Bible. Andreas Köstenberger, Darrell, Bock, and Josh Chatraw. One area that tends to get neglected by people who begin studying Christian apologetics is answering skeptical challenges to the Bible, and especially the New Testament. Skeptical challenges that come from scholars like Bart Ehrman, for example. And that's where this book comes in. Truth in a Culture of Doubt will help you answer these kinds of questions. So you can respond to questions like, is God immoral because he allows suffering? Is the Bible full of irresolvable contradictions? Are the biblical manuscripts corrupt? Were there many Christianities? Were many of the New Testament documents forged? These are the kinds of questions you're going to get to think through as you take a look at this book, Truth in a Culture of Doubt. Book number 5, Evidence That Demands a Verdict, Life-Changing Truth for a Skeptical World, Josh McDowell and Sean McDowell. This is by far the biggest book on the list, clocking in at 789 pages. But it's a book that you can have on your shelf as a reference, and it's really a handy resource. The original actually came out back in the 70s, and that was probably the very first apologetics book that I ever touched. Probably leafed through it, looked through it a little bit because it was on my dad's shelf. This version has been totally updated for the 21st century. This book has 4 parts that takes you through evidences for the Bible, Jesus, focus on the Old Testament as well, and the nature of truth. Okay, so which book is the best apologetics book for you to get started with? If you're looking for a handy reference that you can keep on your shelf that covers a lot of material concerning the Bible and Jesus, then I'd highly recommend this big book, The Evidence That Demands a Verdict. If you are already involved in spiritual conversations and you just want to get better real quick, then I highly recommend Tactics. This is going to revolutionize your conversations with people who see Christianity differently. If, on the other hand, you're looking to really dive into some of these theistic arguments and memorize arguments for the existence of God, be able to talk about the problem of evil, and see how William Lane Craig lays out his 5 arguments he uses at the beginning of a debate, then I highly recommend On Guard. You can't really go wrong with any of these books. It just matters kind of what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is link to all of these books in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. Hey, thanks for staying with me all the way to the end of this video. I'm your Apologetics guy, McDowell, and until next time, keep the faith.